right, guys. So for this type of math problem, we are going to be looking at converting and trying to figure out what percent of my DNA is going to be made up of guanine based on a percentage of adenine that I wound up giving you. So one thing to remember about DNA, and we talked about this quite a bit, is that the base adenine, which is A, always pairs with T, and C always pairs with G. So easy way to kind of look at these as a math problem is that A is always going to equal T and C is always going to equal G. That doesn't necessarily help me out with my practice problem here, which is adenine versus guanine. So I've got to do a little bit of math and a little bit of savvy work to figure out what's going on in this situation. So I know that adenine and thymine are always equal to each other. So that means if I've got 15% adenine, I'm also going to have 15% thymine because they're equal to each other. And so if we think about our DNA strand, it's only made up of these four bases. So I can start off with 100% of my DNA is going to be made up of A's, T's, C's, and G's. Okay? And so what I can do is, since I know the values of my A's and T's, I can subtract that from my 100. Okay? So I'm going to do 100% minus 15% A, and then minus 15% T. Okay? And so what I can do with that is now I can cross out these T's because I'm subtracting them out, and I can cross out the A's, and I've got 100 minus 15 minus another 15, and that's going to leave me with 70% of my DNA, and I can bring down those letters are going to be C and G. So that means 70% of my whole DNA molecule is going to be made up of C's and G's. But remember, my goal for that problem was to figure out what is just guanine's percent. Well, I know that cytosine and guanine are going to be equal to each other. That's what this math equation over here tells me. So that means that 70% I have to split up equally between my C's and my G's. So all I have to do this is divide my 70 by 2 to get each one of these values. So that means 35% of my DNA is going to be cytosine and 35% is going to be guanine.